राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जसोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना जसोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना जमुना तेरा बनचारी जमुना तेरा बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जसोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना जसोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना जमुना तीरा बनचारी जमुना तीरा बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव राधा माधव जय राधा माधव जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य तत्र शिष्यमात अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की इस्कॉन ब्यूटी फाउंडर आचार्य डिवाइन ग्रेस प्रभुपाद की जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की श्री राधा विनोद भगवान की श्री गौर निताय की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी all glories to the assembly devotees, all glories to the assembly devotees, all glories to the assembly devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स पदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतिष्ये नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कंत राधा कंत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 23. Chapter is entitled Maharaj Prithu's Going Back Home. Text number 18. So you'll repeat after me. Tang sarvaguna vinyasang जीवे मायामये नदा तं चानुसम आत्मस्थं वशाबनुसयि पुमान् ज्ञान वैराग्य वीर्येण सदुपस्थ अजहात् प्रभुः तं सर्वगुण विन्यासं जीवे मायामये नदा तं चानुसयम् आत्मस्थं अशाबोनुसयि पुमान् ज्ञान वैराग्य वीर्येण स्वरूपस्थ अजहात् प्रभुः। तं सर्वगुण विन्यासं जीवे मायामयेन दा तं चानुसयम् आत्मस्थं असावनुसयि पुमान् ज्ञानवैराग्यवीर्येण स्वरूपस्थ अजहात् प्रभुः. Vaishnavis, tam unto him. Sarvaguna Vinyasam, the reservoir of all qualities. Jive, unto the designations. Maya Maye, the reservoir of all potencies. Nadhat, blessed. Tam, that. Cha, also. Anusayam, designation. Atmastham, situated in self-realization. Asau, he. Anusai, the living entity. Puman, the enjoyer. Jnana, knowledge. Vairagya, renunciation. Viryena, by the prowess of. Sarupastha, being situated in one's constitutional position. Ajahat, returned home. Prabhu, the controller. The translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Prithu Maharaj then offered the total resignation of the living entity unto the supreme controller of illusory energy. Being released from all the resignations by which the living entity became entrapped, he became free by knowledge and renunciation and by the spiritual force of his devotional service. In this way, being situated in his original constitutional position of Krishna consciousness, he gave up this body as a Prabhu or controller of the senses. Purport. As stated in the Vedas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a source of material energy. Consequently, he is sometimes called Maya Maya, or the Supreme Person, who can create his pastimes through his potency known as the material energy. The Jiva, or the individual living entity, becomes entrapped by the material energy by the supreme will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 1861, we understand Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Middesha Arjuna Tishtati Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani Jantarurani Maya. Ishvara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is situated within the heart of all conditioned souls, and by his supreme will, the living entity or individual soul gets the facility to lord it over material nature in various types of bodies, which are known as yantra, or the moving vehicle offered by the total material energy, Maya. Although the individual living entity Jiva and the Lord are both situated within the material energy, the Lord is directing the movements of the Jiva soul by offering him different types of bodies through the material energy. And thus, the living entity is wandering throughout the universes in various forms of body and becomes implicated in different situations, partaking of the reactions of fruitive activities. When Prithvi Maharaj became spiritually powerful, by the enhancement of his spiritual knowledge, jnana, and renunciation of material desires, he became a Prabhu or master of his senses, sometimes called Goswami or Swami. This means that he was no longer controlled by the influence of material energy. When one is strong enough to give up the influence of material energy, he is called Prabhu. In this verse, the word Sarupastha is also very significant. The real identity of the individual soul lies in understanding or attaining the knowledge that he is eternally a servant of Krishna. This understanding is called Sarupa Upalabdhi. By culturing devotional service, the devotee gradually comes to understand his actual relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This understanding of one's spiritual position is called Sarupa Upalabdhi. And when one attains that stage, he can understand how he is related with the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a servant or friend or as a parent or conjugal lover. This stage of understanding is called Sarupastha. Prithu Maharaj realized this Sarup completely, and it will be clear in the later verses that he personally left this world or this body by riding on a chariot sent from Vaikuntha. In this verse, the word Prabhu is also significant. As stated before, when one is completely self-realized and acts according to that position, he can be called Prabhu. The spiritual master is addressed as Prabhupada because he is completely self-realized soul. The word Pada means position, and the Prabhupada indicates that he is given the position of Prabhu or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for he acts on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unless one is a Prabhu or controller of the senses, he cannot act as a spiritual master, who is authorized by the Supreme Prabhu, Lord Krishna. In his verses praising the spiritual master, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, Sakshat Daritrena Samasta Sastrai, Uktastatha Vatayava. The spiritual master is honored as much as the Supreme Lord because he is the most confidential servitor of the Lord. Thus, Prithu Maharaj can also be called Prabhupada, or as described here in Prabhu. Another question may be raised in this connection. Since Prithu Maharaj was a power incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shaktavesh Avatar, why did he have to execute the regulative principles in order to become a Prabhu? Because he appeared on this earth as an ideal king, and because it is the duty of the king to instruct the citizens in the execution of devotional service, he followed all the regulative principles of devotional service in order to teach others. Similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although Krishna himself, taught us how to approach Krishna as a devotee. It is said, Apani Achari Bhakti Shikhainu Sabare. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed others in the process of devotional service by setting the example himself through his own personal actions. Similarly, Prithu Maharaj, although a Shaktavesh avatar incarnation, still behaved exactly like a devotee in order to achieve the position of Prabhu. Furthermore, Sarupastha means complete liberation. As it is said, Bhagavatam 2.10.6, Hitvanta Rupam Sarupena Vyavasthitihi. When a living entity abandons the activities of Maya and attains the position from which he can execute devotional service, his state is called Sarupastha, or complete liberation. Mukam karati vachalam pongur langhaite giring jatkripa tamaham vande Sri Gurung dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Isharam. Hare Krishna. So, in this section of Bhagavatam, it is explained how Prithu Maharaj is going back home, back to Godhead. Chapter is also entitled Maharaj Prithu's Going Back Home. And Prabhupada said, back to Godhead. So Prithu Maharaj attained perfection. And when he attained perfection, he gave up his body and went to the spiritual world. So that is the purpose of every human being, to attain spiritual perfection and go back home, back to Godhead. And what is the perfectional stage? Prabhupada writes in the purport, he attained Sarupa Siddhi. He attained his eternal Sarupa. Although every living entity is constitutionally the servant of Krishna. Jivera Sarupai Krishner Nityadas. That is general understanding of the constitutional position. But when someone attains perfection, he can understand what's his position in relationship with the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world. And primarily, Prabhupada mentioned 4 kinds of rasas a relationship that is Dasya, Sakhya, Vasalya and Madhurya. That is the perfection. And Prithu Maharaj already attained that. And how one can attain that position? When someone is completely free from material energy. Means when someone becomes transcendental to three modes of material nature. It is explained by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Ksthamritha Sindhu. The position or Sarupa is revealed at the stage of Bhava to some extent. And when someone attains Prema Bhakti, then Bhava is clearly manifested. So Prema Bhakti is the stage where someone can understand one's Sarupa. So that is the perfection. Sadhana is practice and Prema is perfection. So therefore, we have to do sadhana bhakti. In this purport, Prabhupada mentions, people may ask that Prithu Maharaj was Shaktaves avatar. Why he had to undergo sadhana bhakti? And Prabhupada very clearly mentions to set example. Although he is always perfect, he does not have to attain perfection because he is already perfected. Nitya Siddha means who is eternally perfect. They don't need any process to follow to attain perfection. But for the sake of this world, to set a good example, even the Nitya Siddhas, they follow the regulative principles of sadhana bhakti. Rupa Goswami, other Goswamis, they are all Nitya Siddha Bhaktas. Still, they followed the principles of sadhana bhakti. So this is very, very important. And Rupa Goswami was taught in the same principle by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Prayag. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke to Rupa Goswami about different levels of perfection, and it is said that the devotional creeper will pierce through the material coverings and pierce through the Brahmajyoti, enters into Vaikuntha and goes to Goloka and takes shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. And what happens then? A fruit is manifested. That fruit is known as fruit of love of God, prema phal. And that person who has attained siddhi or perfection enjoys that fruit. Very interesting fruit. And when someone can taste that fruit, then that person is no longer interested to enjoy the fruits of this material world. Means fruits of material action, karma phal. So we can be free from karma phal when we attain prema phal. But we need phal in our life. Fruits are integral part of our life. So choice is there, karma phal or prema phal. So sadhaka acts. Why they act? To teach others. So when he attains perfection also, he continues to do sadhana. So he enjoys that fruit. At the same time, he continues to water the seed of devotional service. Two things go on. Because externally, as a sadhaka, he continues sadhana bhakti, and in Siddha Sharup, he enjoys love of God. That is the perfection. So here, Prabhupada also talks about Prabhupada. Very interesting. So Prabhupada title is given to spiritual master. And what is the meaning of Prabhu? Prabhu means who is the master of the senses. So we address all the devotees as Prabhu. So in order to justify that address, we should be the controller of the senses. And Prabhu is also compared to Swamy or Goswami, same meaning, controller of the senses. Unless and until we control our senses, there is no hope for our spiritual perfection. And Prabhupada says in the purport, who can become a spiritual master? The minimum qualification is he must be the controller of his senses. Nectar of Instruction also, first verse, talks about different kinds of urges, 6 kinds of urges. Who can control the 6 kinds of urges, he is qualified to make disciples. Means he is qualified to become spiritual master all over the world. So, controlling the senses is very, very important. And that is the first verse of Nectar of Instruction. And what is the last verse? Radha Kund. So, journey begins with controlling the senses and journey ends residing at the bank of Radha Kund. Means Prema Bhakti. So, controlling the senses begins with following 4 regulative principles. And people think those who follow 4 regulative principles is a pure devotee. Sometimes people have that misunderstanding that he is following 4 regulative principles, he is a pure devotee of the Lord. Prabhupada said following 4 regulative principles is a symptom of a gentleman. It's a human platform to practice bhakti. But sometimes that level is also difficult in Kali Yuga, right? Following 4 regulative principles itself is a difficulty. How to talk about attaining our Sarupa in the spiritual world. So when Prabhupada spoke about 4 regulative principles, the Americans, they were shocked to hear that. Prabhupada said, if you want to be initiated, you have to follow 4 regulative principles. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. And they are surprised. They asked Prabhupada, then what do you do? Because life is all about that. Right? Material life is all about that. And spiritual life means stopping these 4 pillars of sinful activities. Because Krishna consciousness and sinful activities cannot go together. So chanting of the holy name should be accompanied by at least following 4 regulative principles. So then what will happen? Then we can control our senses. Sadhana means 2 things. Withdrawing the senses from sense objects and engaging the senses in the service of the Lord. This is called sadhana. This is called austerity. And this is the way to control our mind and senses. Mind will be peaceful when we withdraw our senses from sense objects and engage the senses in the service of the Lord. Because we cannot artificially control our senses. Many people try to do that. They stop talking, they withdraw from sense objects, but again they become victim. Why? Because we cannot live in emptiness or vacuum. We should have positive engagement of the senses. That's why Krishna consciousness teaches us how to engage our senses in the service of the Lord. That is called bhakti. Bhakti means engaging our senses in the service of the Lord. And when all the senses are engaged, not 1 or 2, what will happen? We become the master of the senses by the will of the Supreme Master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Because it's very difficult for us to control our senses. Because we are not the controller. Who is the controller? Krishna is the controller. And when we take shelter of Krishna, then Krishna help us to control our senses. Because he is the real controller. So we have to do our part. But real part is engaging our senses in the service of the Lord. That is the key. And if we leave one sense from the service of the Lord, then what will happen? He'll take over. He'll take over other senses. We say, oh, little bit is okay, no? Little bit of sense enjoyment is okay. So little bit is okay, but it will not remain little bit. So that is the problem, because senses are so powerful. We should not give chance to the senses, because senses are very, very powerful. So best way, very simple way, most powerful way to control our senses is to engage our senses in the service of the Lord. And that's what Srila Prabhupada has taught us. He has given a system by which we can do that. And till that happens, what we have to do? We have to tolerate. We should not react to the temptations. And Srila Prabhupada says, the greatness of a person has to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate provoking situations. Provocations will be there, because this is the world of provocations, temptations. But we should learn to tolerate. But who can tolerate? Whose intelligence is very, very sharp and powerful. And how intelligence can be powerful and sharp? Krishna says, Teshang satata juktanang bhajatang piti purvakam dadami buddhi jogam tam. What is the next? Yenamam upajantite. So when someone is engaged, Teshang satata juktanang, always engaged. Teshang satata juktanang bhajatam piti purvakam dadami buddhi jogam tam. Then Krishna gives the intelligence. When Krishna gives the intelligence, when you are engaged. How you are engaged? Satata. Satata means continuously. Other day I was giving a lecture in the purport. Prabhupada is talking about by continuous chanting and hearing, one can attain the perfection of self-realization. Prabhupada is not telling regularly. Prabhupada is talking about continuously. There is a big difference between regularly and continuously. Regularly can be interpreted in many different ways. Some may say, I was giving the example that day also, someone may say, I am very regular in my bhakti. I come on every Janmashtami. So for him, regular means yearly. Some may say, I come on my anniversary. I come on marriage anniversary. So that is also annual plan. Some may come once in a month, monthly. Some may come on every Ekadasi. Some may come weekly, Sundays or Saturdays, whatever. But regularly, at least, means daily. That is the real meaning of regular. Daily. Nityam Bhagavata Seva regularly means daily. That's why Prabhupada has introduced the system of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam daily. Right? Daily in the morning and evening Bhagavad Gita. So how long? That can vary depending on our practical situation. As much as possible. Prabhupada has given 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. So 2 hours. Mahaprabhu, he heard Bhagavatam every day, regularly. 3 hours every day from the mouth of Gadadhar Pandit. Raghunath Das Goswami used to speak about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the bank of Radhakund every day, 3 hours. Srila Prabhupada used to chant the holy name under the tree in Thompson Square Park, 3 hours. So 3 hours is like a magic figure, right? But at least we should have some time every day hearing and chanting about the glories of the Lord. That is a process. That is a process of sadhana. Sadhana means it should be done regularly. But in order to attain perfection, regularly should become continuously. Continuously means 24 hours a day or week. 24 hours a day. Prabhupada also writes in the purport, a pure devotee of the Lord is engaged in hearing and chanting about the Lord 24 hours a day. But because we don't have that kind of taste in chanting and hearing, Prabhupada has given a package. Morning and evening hearing and daytime practical devotional service. So we have to be always engaged. Then what will happen? Slowly, slowly, but steadily, senses will come under control. And when senses will come under control, we can be addressed as Prabhu. But Prabhu does not think he is Prabhu. He always thinks, I am a servant. But it's very dangerous to think, now I have conquered the senses. Now I am a Prabhu. Maybe after that he'll think, I am Prabhupada. So this is very dangerous platform. A sadhaka, even after attaining perfection, he never thinks that he has attained perfection. But those who are not at that level, they think they have attained perfection. I was asking question in a class, how many of you attain love of Godhead? Few devotees raised hand. Very interesting audience. Generally, those who have attained love of Godhead, they will never raise hand. And those who have not attained, and those who do not have any idea about love of Godhead, they may raise. And I also ask, how many of you here remember Krishna 24 hours a day? Few devotees raised hand. So, very dangerous platform they are in, but maybe they are doing out of ignorance, raising hand, but it's not so easy to remember Krishna. Why? Because we don't have love for Krishna. We cannot mechanically think of Krishna 24 hours a day. A mother thinks of her child 24 hours a day continuously. Why? She has love for the child. So why we cannot remember Krishna? Because simple, we don't have love for him. We are practicing to develop that love for Krishna. That's why it is known as sadhana. So sadhana bhakti থেকে হয় রতির উদয়, রতি গাঢ় হইলে তারে প্রেম নাম কয়. Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that sadhana will manifest bhava or rati. And when rati matures, it will become prema. So at the level of bhava, our swarup, we can get an idea what kind of swarup we have. That idea will be given, a little bit of idea. But it will be properly manifested when we attain love of Godhead. Then we can know which kind of spiritual body we have. So that is manifested at the level of Prema Bhakti. And that is the perfection of our life. And Dhruva Maharaj attained that. So you should not think, oh, that happened in Satyuga, it's not possible in Kali Yuga. The same principle is there. We also can attain that perfection, provided we practice sincerely. Because someone who is very, very strict in sadhana bhakti can attain love of Godhead. And here it is said that if you want to become a spiritual master, minimum qualification is controlling the senses. That must be there. If someone is not able to control the senses, how he can be a spiritual master? That is a minimum qualification. But attaining love of Godhead, that is ideal. That's why Prabhupada says, a Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama, everybody can become spiritual master, but a sincere seeker will always find a Uttamadikari Guru for his spiritual journey. So to be a Uttamadikari and become Guru is very favorable situation, because that situation will help others to become perfect, because that is a perfectional stage. But at the same time, anybody who is at the level of Kanishta and Madhyama can also become spiritual master, but that is not so much recommended. So here Prabhupada mentioned at least that person should control his or her senses. Someone who has become the master of the senses is eligible to become spiritual master. Then Prabhupada also talks about we should set the example. Acharya. Acharya means teaching by example. So when we practice something, then that we can preach. If we don't practice, only speaking is not going to have an impact in anyone's life. Rather, people will not take it seriously. So therefore, whatever we preach, we should practice that. That is the minimum expectation. And that is very, very important also. So one is a common story that one mother was not able to control her son about taking sweets, and bad for his son's health, her son's health. So she could not control her son. So she thought better to take him to a sadhu. So she went to a sadhu and requested the sadhu to counsel him not to take sweets. So sadhu told, come after 1 month. And after 1 month, the child was brought, and sadhu said, don't take sweets. So mother was surprised that to tell this simple thing, don't take sweets, you took 1 month. He said, when you came, that time I was also taking sweets. If I am taking sweets, then how can I tell him to not take sweets? So this is very, very important principle. It's very simple, but it's very, very powerful. And this is a fundamental principle to become a spiritual master or to become a guru or any kind of leader. Character. Unless you have character, it's very difficult to perform the role of a leader. But nowadays, character is not so much valued. That authority comes from position. But here, Prithu Maharaj is acting like an ideal king. Why he is ideal king? Because he is a Vaishnava king, a devotee of the Lord. They are known as Rajarshis. They are Raja, but at the same time, Rishi. So unless we have that quality, it's very, very difficult to become a good king. It's not possible. So the kings who are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam and Shastra, they used to rule the whole world. And all of you know, those who are in some sort of management, managing is not so easy, right? Managing a country, nowadays nobody can manage the whole world. Managing a country, small country is also difficult. Or to talk about managing a country, managing a small state is also difficult. Managing a small city is difficult. Managing a locality in the city is difficult. And managing a family is also difficult. It has become so difficult, now people have decided not to have family. Very difficult to manage, right? But how they used to manage. We should not think, oh, they are in so much anxiety, so much anxiety. They are not at all in anxiety. they used to spend most of their times in hearing and chanting the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and inspiring the citizens also to do the same thing. Why we have to have headache managing? Because people are not Krishna conscious. If people become Krishna conscious, there is nothing to manage. Right? There is no management in the spiritual world. It's auto mode, right? Why? Because they are Krishna conscious. In the same way, if all the citizens of the world or all the citizens of a country become Krishna conscious, what will happen? Management? There is no management. Hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. That will go on. Prabhupada also said, if you preach Krishna consciousness properly, management will be like a shadow. You don't have to try for it. And that's the way Krishna manages. How he is managing the whole material world? Three personalities are managing the whole material existence. Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, Khiradakshay Vishnu. They are all lying down, relaxing, sleeping, and things are managed. And for us, any festival comes, our sleep goes away. That is the symptom of our management. Someone is managing, how to know? He is not able to sleep. That is the proof that I am managing. And what is the proof that Krishna is managing? Sleeps. Completely opposite. Relaxed. Why? Because this is the art of spiritual management. So, the king is the representative of God. They also used to manage in the same way. And if you see their lives, always there are sadhus in their palace, serving them, hearing from them. That's the way they used to spend a lot of time organizing yagyas, whatever process is given. They used to do that. That's why they are known as Rajarshis. So as a leader also of a temple or manager of a temple should give substantial amount of time in hearing and chanting. Then what will happen? Management will become very smooth. But we always focus on problems because we are not focusing on the solution, real solution. Prabhupada said there is no material solution to the material problem. If you solve one problem, another problem will quickly follow. It will be more complicated problem. And we think, no, this problem will be solved, then I'll be focused in Krishna consciousness. But that day will never come. Right? In the family also. If I settle this issue, I'll be completely focused. If I retire, then I'll be very serious. If I have so much money, then I'll be serious. That day will never come. Because as long as we are in this world, there will be always some difficulties. Somebody told that I don't want to be part of management. And one leader told, even if you give Charanamrita, there can be some problem also, if that is destined for you. So you cannot escape problems. We have to know how to handle problems. So when we become Krishna conscious, then any problem will become very, very easy to handle. Because we are very, very Krishna conscious. So spiritual solution to the material problem is the process given by Srila Prabhupada, and also it is a principle in the Shastra. So the kings, they are mainly focused on spiritual activities and also making the citizens Krishna conscious. And Prabhupada said this is the primary duty of a person who is in leadership position, to make his or her dependents Krishna conscious. If they are not able to do that, they should not take that position. So it's very risky. It's very risky. Prabhupada gives the example that Jamraj made a mistake and he had to take birth in a Sudra family. He compares with taking leadership position in ISKCON society also. If you take leadership position and if you make mistake, we have to pay the consequences. We have to face the consequences. So more we go up, more responsible we become. And reaction is also very dangerous. If you fall down from first floor, there is a chance of survival. If you fall from 10th floor, less chance. And if you fall from 100th floor, no chance. So more we go up, looks nice, materially, but it is very, very dangerous. That's why who became ideal king, who did not want to become a king? Because they know this responsibility. So position is not a privilege, position is a responsibility. And spiritual life means life of responsibility. So these great personalities are showing us how to become responsible in our lives. Taking responsibility is the basic aspect of our human society. That's why Varnashram Dharma means what? Taking responsibility. If you are a brahmachari, you have responsibility. If you have grihastha, you have responsibility. If you are a vanaprastha, you have responsibility. If you are sannyasi, you are having responsibilities. There is no place we don't have any responsibility. Maybe variety changes. We cannot have irresponsible life. Nowadays, people don't like to take responsibilities. People want to have all facilities. So yesterday I was talking about Varnashram. And in Kali Yuga, now the tendency is that we take the privilege of Brahmachari ashram and also take the privilege of Grihastha ashram, and we have developed a new ashram which is not there in Shastra. They are neither married or not in ashram. A special variety. And why? What is the reason of this special variety? We don't want to take responsibility. So we want to take the sweet side. Don't take the bitter side. Privilege is the sweet side. And responsibility is the bitter side. But in order to cure our disease, bitter pill is very much needed. That's why medicines are generally bitter. So medicine of our cure is to take responsibility. Take pain. Prabhupada said love means taking pain. Love means taking anxiety. Brajavasis is also in anxiety, but their anxiety is centered around Krishna. We cannot have anxiety-free life. We have to choose what kind of anxiety you want. If we want to be free from material anxiety, then we have to take spiritual anxiety. Mahaprabhu is taking spiritual anxiety. He is in anxiety. What is the anxiety? That some may get love of Godhead, some may not get love of Godhead. I am distributing the fruit of love of Godhead because I am the only gardener. I need help. Anxiety. This is the parampara. Our parampara is the parampara of anxiety. And what is the anxiety? Not material anxiety. Anxiety of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. So till that happens, we cannot live happily. That is the symptom of envy, Prabhupada says. If someone staying happily and doing bhajan and not spreading the message of Krishna consciousness means he is envious. Why? Because he is not worried about others. By seeing others suffering, you can remain happy, means you are envious. That's why envy has two different aspects. This is also one aspect of envy. There are three kinds of envy. Envy towards Krishna, envy towards all living entities, and envy towards devotees. That's why there are three processes given to come out from this envy. Name Ruchi, Jive Daya, Vaishnav Seva. By developing taste in the holy name, we can be free from envy towards Krishna. Jive Daya, by spreading Krishna consciousness, we can be free from envy towards all living entities. Vaishnav Seva, by serving the devotees, we can be free from envy towards the devotees. So, spreading Krishna consciousness is very, very important. Serving the devotees is very, very important. At the same time, developing the taste in the holy name is also important. So, all three should go simultaneously. 3 lane. Just like we have 3 lanes, 3 royal roads to hell, Last, anger and greed. These three are the royal roads to, what is the destination? Hell. And these three are the royal road to Vaikuntha. So therefore, we should develop Name Ruchi. We have to have Vaishnav Seva and we have to have Jivedaya. So these three things are very, very important part of our life. And when we focus on these three, then we can be perfect in due course of time. Point to be noted that we cannot have anxiety-free life. Leader means anxiety, but a leader takes anxiety for others, not for himself. That is the quality of a selfless leader. Because leader does not think about himself. I is replaced by others and mainly Krishna. So when Krishna is the center of our anxiety, that is the perfection of our anxiety. And that will take us to the spiritual perfection. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare. Any question, comment? Mike is.
Hare Krishna. Hare, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, audible.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for detailed explanation on uh, the sadhana bhakti to attainment of prema. Maharaj, the processes of devotional service, the activities have been clearly stated by Prabhupada and given by the spiritual master, like chanting and reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with devotees. But Maharaj, generally when we know the activities and we do it every day, it tends to go again and again mechanical. So Maharaj, how to increase the quality of those same activities we do? Because it is the quality which will raise the consciousness, not just the repetition. Repetition is also beneficial. Like many times, many devotees tell, even if you do it, that activity will benefit. But how to enhance the quality over the time as we spend for same activities?
So quality of devotional service depends on the quality of our consciousness. It is internal. We cannot have any technique. By adopting some techniques, we cannot improve the quality of devotional service. The quality of devotional service depends on the quality of our consciousness. So how to improve the consciousness? How to improve? We have to be gradually reducing our anarthas. Anartha nibriti. As anarthas will be reducing, the quality of our devotional service will be improving. Okay?
Just means addition. When we do devotional service, then anarthas will, like, it becomes a cycle.
Yeah, I'll tell. I have not finished my answer. That's what it is said. Nashtaprayeshu avadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. This is the process. We have to serve Bhagavat. Nityam bhagavata sevaya. Regularly you have to serve Bhagavats. Two kinds of Bhagavat, person Bhagavat and book Bhagavat. You have to hear from Srimad Bhagavatam and also serve the person Bhagavat. What happened to Narad Muni? Narad Muni tested the remnants of who? Bhakti Vedantas, the Mahabhagavas, the pure devotees. And immediately he lost all the taste of material life. High quality devotional service. So serving the Vaishnavas improves our quality. But problem is that we also serve the Vaishnavas mechanically. So we have to have some sort of, what I can say, feeling of our consciousness. Why we are doing. How mechanical things will become more quality when we are conscious why we are doing it. If we are conscious that why you are doing it, then automatically quality will improve. And why you are doing it? For the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and also Vaishnavas and spiritual masters. Hori Guru Vaishnava. When we are conscious about that, then slowly, the quality of our devotional service will improve. We don't have spontaneous love, but we should be conscious why we are doing. That consciousness helps us to improve the quality. Okay?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. Maharaj, I just had one small question with respect to the spiritual anxiety that you are referring to. Spiritual anxiety, to some extent, like we can understand how it should be. But even if we are trying to carry out certain activities which are materialistic and which appear materialistic, but then it gets broken down. There is an anxiety, but then the actionable items could be like regular mundane things, could be materialistic. So have we deviated, or we should still, I mean, sometimes we lose track of it. So how do we try to realign ourselves every time? Because day to day, like, okay, if I have to ask in a simple way, spiritual anxiety is managing things in the temple. Is it spiritual anxiety or it is materialistic, or how do we maintain it still in the spiritual way?
Yeah, it's a good question. What is material and what is spiritual? How to determine? Is the first question. What is material and what is spiritual? I'm asking you.
Maharaj, spiritual is when we are able to connect it with Krishna, and material is when we don't do that, when we connect it to ourselves or what our needs.
Very good answer you gave. It's all about connection. So temple activities are connected with the Lord, or it is disconnected from the Lord?
It is connected with the Lord. Actually, frankly, it has to be connected with the Lord.
That is philosophical answer. I'm talking about real answer, that temple services are connected with the Lord or not. You don't have to speculate on that. This is connected with the Lord. But problem is that we don't feel that connection. We think if I chant the holy name, offer puja to the Lord, or cook for the deities, these are the connecting service. Management, headache. This is disconnected service. We have that kind of ideas. So when I was doing treasury services in Mayapur for a few years, I also used to feel what I am doing here. I came to ISKCON not to do this. Then I went to my spiritual master. He told me very interestingly, he said that experience of spirituality will come when you are connected. He said, you are not managing a treasury of any mundane person. This is Radha Madhav's treasury. So if you have that sambandha, then you will get bliss by managing that service. But if you don't have that, then what will happen? You'll feel I'm wasting my time here. I want to have some higher service. And people say like that. I need to have some higher service. An absolute platform, there is no higher or lower service. So again, my Guru Maharaj wrote a letter to Prabhupada. That Prabhupada, I am a sannyasi. I am supposed to read Bhagavatam, teach Bhagavatam, spread Bhagavatam. But whole day I am busy building Lotus building. So he thought that he'll get some compassionate answer. Prabhupada wrote a very heavy letter. What do you think? My building and my book is different. So building my building and reading my books is same. But that is absolute platform. But as a sadhaka, we should have a balance. Reading books, building temple, there should be a balance. But both are connected. But problem is that as a sadhaka at a mundane platform, which are not so much directly connected with the Lord, we feel disconnected. That's why you have to have some balance. Sadhana and seva. When we have proper sadhana, then we can feel connection in the service. It's like a sandwich. Morning sadhana, evening sadhana, whole day seva. By the touch of these two sadhana, then inside also will become spiritual. That is called connection. So connection at a sadhaka will happen when we have proper sadhana bhakti. So we should focus morning and evening for sadhana, hearing and chanting, and whole day busy for seva. Then that seva also will become spiritualized through that connection. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
But how to talk about temple service? Our Prabhupada is telling even your duty, which is not directly connected with the temple, that can also be spiritualized. How? Prabhupada is giving a very, what I can say, very practical solution. What is the result of doing work? Money. So how you can connect your job with Krishna? By giving money. There's a connection. It's not a lip service. Oh, I do for Krishna. Oh, whatever I do is for Krishna only. What is the proof? The proof is how much you are giving for Krishna. So that's the way you can connect your duty also with Krishna. But when someone comes to a very high platform, then that duty also will become spiritual. Like Arjuna fought the battle, but he was remembering Krishna all the time. That's why that fighting also becomes spiritual. The different levels, depending on our consciousness. But the crux of the issue is that we have to be connected. Okay.
Just one follow-up question. Maharaj, when you said you have to connect to Krishna at the ground level, practically, what does it mean? Like
Connect means we should be conscious why you are doing it.
conscious. We should always remember why we are doing and also remember.
That is the
Krishna.
connection. It's not an external connection. Oh, I am connected. I am sitting next to Radha Madhav, Radha Vinod. Doesn't mean you are connected. Connected means you are conscious.
Conscious.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Anything else? Okay, last question. Any online question is there?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hmm.
Maharaj, you mentioned when we take responsibilities or in service, there is sleep, losing sleep. Now, if somebody is losing sleep or losing their health or doing this, is there something we need to address, or
Yes.
it is, are they trying too hard? What does it mean?
There can be many reasons. You can lose sleep because you have some disease, medical problem. You may lose sleep because you are not able to sleep because of anxiety. It can be material anxiety, spiritual anxiety. And you may lose sleep when you are transcendental, because pure devotee never sleeps.
No, not the sleep exactly, Maharaj. When during service, there is so much stress
You
that
spoke about sleep, no? That's why I gave the example.
means more on the health side.
Health.
So if somebody is compromising,
You should specify that.
yeah, sorry.
If
So-
you are having health issues, means your life is imbalanced. Imbalance in your lifestyle leads to health issues. Yukta ahara viharasya, yukta chestasya karmasya, yukta sapna bhavadasya, yoga bhavati dukkha. Krishna says you will not have any problem, provided you are balanced. How will you know you are balanced? You allocate time in a balanced way. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says 8 hours for the body, 8 hours for the soul, and 8 hours for the service. Balance. Then less anxiety, less headache, and you can have wonderful sleep. Okay? And if you cannot get sleep, come to Bhagavatam class. You can experience sleep. All anxiety will go away. Just sit in Bhagavatam class. I'm serious about it. Those who are having anxiety, tell them to regularly attend Bhagavatam class. All anxiety will go away. Hare Krishna.
Thank you much. Hare Krishna.
Why Prithu Maharaj went to Vaikuntha, not Goloka?
That is the problem of us. Everybody should go to Goloka. Goloka is the place of Krishna. If someone is worshipping somebody, some other form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he'll go to Vaikuntha. As if going to Vaikuntha is like a, what's going on here? Only Vaikuntha. Going to Vaikuntha is not ordinary. Goloka is also part of Vaikuntha. It is the topmost region of Vaikuntha, but that is also part of Vaikuntha. Okay? Someone who worships Radha and Krishna in Aishwarya Bhav, he'll also go to one Goloka. I don't know. I don't want to say that. There is two Goloka. Aishwarya Goloka and Madhur Goloka. Those who worship Radha and Krishna in Madhurya Bhav, they'll go to Madhurya Goloka. And those who worship Radha Krishna in Aishwarya Bhav, they'll go to Aishwarya Goloka. So depending on our mood. Okay? Not okay for him or what?
Does it answer, Prabhuji?
Thank you very much. Golok Vrindavan ki jai. Vaikuntha Loka ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Let's express our gratitude to Maharaj by chanting Hare Krishna mantra once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So we are fortunate to have tomorrow morning also class by Maharaj in the morning. The schedule is sent in the group. So we request all the devotees to kindly take advantage. And devotees can have prasadam in the prasadam. Hare Krishna.